and welcome back to Cooking with MoWino. It is the eve of Independence Day, but the weekend has already started, and I'm doing a little bit of a different tradition of sorts for Independence Day. And by the way, it is American Independence Day that just happens to be on the 4th of July. So happy Independence Day, everyone, don't say the 4th. Anyway, this is my pet peeve. I am drinking tonight a Washington State Charles Smith wine, the Velvet Devil, because I like saying the devil's in the sauce. The reason I'm drinking this is because I was tweeting last night with a bunch of my Washington State wine friends, and the only Washington State wine I had in the house was this. I'm embarrassed to say because I have a great spectrum of wines that I love from Washington State. But anyway, a belated cheers and welcome. So what I'm doing today, or tonight rather, is that I am prepping my Cuban black beans that I am going to be making tonight, let them sit all night, and serve tomorrow for some friends who are stopping by. So I have prepped everything already, and I should say, I'm not Cuban, but I grew up in Miami, and I have a lovely childhood group of friends who are Cuban Americans, and who I have learned a lot from them and from their moms on cooking great Cuban cuisine, and I just love it. So this is my version of black beans, so I hope not to offend any of my Miami Cubanista sisters, but here we go. So you've seen the ingredient board. I use canned beans. I know, I'm sorry, but the dried black beans just take too long. I always get them, they're tough, and so I just stick now to the canned beans. I try to buy low sodium, but this is one of the key aspects that I always do religiously to my beans. And truthfully, I can't even remember who taught me this, but I take apple cider vinegar and I add 2 full tablespoons to each can. And usually when I make this, I make 6 cans because I like to make a lot and put it in the freezer for later. So after I put the two tablespoons in, I take the bottom of a spoon and I basically sort of stir it up so that the apple cider vinegar seeps throughout the can. And this is just sort of my version of, I guess, a fermentation process. And I let the beans sit while I prepare the vegetable aromatics as the first layer of flavor. But what I'm going to do today is something different that I've never done because, this is MoWino. I'm going to add some wine to my traditional black bean Cuban recipe. I don't think it should hurt it or change it because I think wine makes everything better. So here we go. So I already have about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil in my big pan. And I could already see you can't see that. So I'm going to adjust the camera a bit. And so here we have big pan avocado oil, and I am literally going to throw everything in. I have 1 medium onion that I have put in the food processor so it's minced. Now I should say every family has their own, traditional recipes that they love. Like I said, this is mine. I have one good friend who puts in a can of onion soup from Campbell's Onion Soup in hers. So you can make any kind of variety. This is a half of a bell red pepper, again in the food processor, so minced. One half of a green bell pepper in the food processor, so minced. And all the juices that come out of the pepper, I just add them in. And I have 3 celery stalks. I would say they're small celery stalks because they're not from the farmer's market. Sorry. So of course there's no strings and they're tiny and whatever. But anyway, it's 3. So I would say that's probably 1 large fresh celery stalk, minced again. And then I have 4 garlic cloves minced. So what I'm going to do is just simmer these vegetables together and let them get a little tenderization and on the simmer. And once I think that that has been accomplished, I'm going to add the devil. Welcome back. So my aromatic vegetables have been simmering away, and I'm considering them done when I could smell the fragrant aroma coming up, which is just great. And the peppers, like I said, have a little bit of their own natural juices, so the pan is not dry. However, this is where we're going to change the recipe that I've been making for years, is because I am adding the devil to the sauce. Now, I'm not looking to create soup here, but I want them to simmer in the sauce. So I'm going to free measure by looking at the level of wine that goes into the pot. I literally just want all of the vegetables to be submerged. So, I'm going to add my wine. And I need a little more here. And another phone's going off in the other room. Not my phone. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to let these vegetables simmer for a few minutes in the wine while my beans are over here, as I said before, fermenting with the apple cider vinegar. So they're sort of doing their own thing on the counter. The vegetables are doing their own thing in the pan. And the chef is having a drink. Our aromatics have been simmering for a few minutes in our Devil's Merlot. And it really looks yummy. But now we are going to add the beauty of our Cuban dinner, and that is the black beans. So, I have 6 cans of low sodium black beans that have been fermenting in apple cider vinegar, and I am just gonna drop them in. So the ratio is pretty good. Like I said, this is normally the amount I make every time. So the only herb that I put in to my beans, because everything else is natural, fresh garlic, the peppers, everything. I usually take dried thyme, and I take a capful, dump it in, and we mix it up. We're going to bring this to a swift boil, and then turn it down and let it simmer low and slow for several hours. I mean, the beans are already cooked. The whole point here is to get all the flavors to gel and be happy all together in one big pot. And then we'll put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then we will reheat it when our guests are ready to sit down for dinner tomorrow. Cheers. Live life, taste life, my friends.